And Sandy, I'm going to give the mic to you.
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, thanks, Tom, and it's nice to see you and David here, and I'm excited about this program. I think that what I wanted to see more than anything was real training, and I've talked with Van Miller about this several times. That real training where you can have an event where people are going to teach you some things that will make a huge difference to your bottom line. And one of the things that got me excited about being part of this was that that's what we're doing. And as I see it, and being aware of what's out there, this is going to be the biggest educational event in the industry. And I can't thank you enough for getting this started for people because people need this. I mean, advisors need this. I don't care if you're an agent or a financial advisor or a planner or whatever you call yourself. This is something that everybody needs. Now, as far as what I'm going to do here is here's my observation over time. Most advisors aren't fully serving their existing clients. They think they are, but they're not really going deep enough to create what the industry calls an engaged client, because engaged clients will refer 100% of the time. And it's something that I'm going to be talking about because you need to be able to take at least your top 20 or 30 clients and engage them so that you can they're easily going to give you introductions, referrals without you even asking. But when you do have a conversation with them, they're going to be in favor of it. There isn't going to be any awkwardness about it. And it's not really the fault of the advisors who do this, but they stop asking. In the beginning, somebody's mentoring them and saying, hey, you got to ask every client for referrals. And then they stop asking. And there's a reason they stop. It's awkward and it's uncomfortable, and they think they shouldn't be doing it. And every time they see something written that says, oh, don't ask for referrals, just earn them, they say, oh, well, that's me. Good. I don't have to ask. And the problem with that is that if you are not with your clients at a very deep level, you're not on their mind every day. You're not part of anything that they're thinking about on any particular day. And it's rare that somebody comes and says, oh, do you know somebody that can help me roll over my 401k? Or do you know somebody that can get me some more insurance? I need some more insurance. Nobody's having those conversations. So you need a way to reach people, which is through your existing clients. So one thing they don't do is they don't go deep enough with the existing clients. The second thing that they don't do is they don't ask. Because when you started out and you learn to ask, these are the kinds of ways that you learn to ask. Mr. and Mrs. Client, I get paid in two ways. I get a small fee from the companies that I work with, and I ask all my clients to give me at least 10 referrals. So, Mary, will you fill out this sheet with 10 names and phone numbers of people I can call while I work with Tom to close, to finish the paperwork on this business? And believe it or not, when I talk to people, there are four or five of these. I won't go through them all, but there are four or five of these that become so awkward and uncomfortable. You really have this vision in your mind that the client's going to look at you and say, wait, give me back that paperwork, tear it up, and leave because you asked them for referrals. And the problem with that, the reason that happens is it's all about me and how I build my business. And nobody cares about you and how you build your business, except maybe your mother or your best friend. They care about themselves. They care about their families. They care about their friends and the people that they work with. And if you don't know how to ask in a way that addresses that gets into their world and addresses the people that they care about, then you don't get what you don't get referrals. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, And most advisors stop doing it. They're not asking at all because when they do, it just feels awkward and uncomfortable. And that's fixable. But most advisors don't know how to fix it. And they turn to outside sources. And David, you know this because you've identified all the outside sources. I won't name names or anything, but it comes down to there are three things that you need in order to be good at getting really good referrals and to do it comfortably. And by the way, the people who are still doing it that way will say, yeah, I do it, but I don't get any decent results. And usually they give me people that they don't even care about so that I can't damage any relationships. And those people, when I call them, they have no interest in talking with me. And that's all stuff that's fixable if you've got these three things right. The first is how you think, yeah, how you think about referrals, how you think about being introduced, because it's got to shift from um, being something that I need for me to being something that you can do for them. David and I were talking about this one time, and he said, yeah, it's like pay it forward. And it's like, yeah, you're happy, I'm helping you. There's got to be someone in your life that might not feel this way. And of course, you don't know that, but there's got to be something like that, someone that you would want to have this same kind of relationship with their agent or their advisor if they could, if it was possible. So we got to get you thinking the right way. And you got to, and part of that thinking is knowing that you deserve to be the one to talk to those friends and family members. More than anything else, you deserve to be that one because of what you've done for the client that you're sitting in front of. And get out of this thing about it's my need. Your need's the ugliest thing that you can show them. Maybe you do need business. Maybe you do need referrals, but they're not going to be responsive to that. They're going to be responsive to your suggestion that you might be able to help someone else. And then you can't be rejected. Hey, I want to help your friends and family. Oh, I reject you. You can't, that's not going to happen. You can't be rejected. You can't feel that you were salesy or needy because you're asking about helping people they care about. The worst thing's going to happen is they're going to say, no, or I can't think of anyone. I don't know anyone. And there's a way to address that as well. So, first is mindset. The second area that I'm going to be talking about, and I've never done this before, Tom, I've never um, given my entire 10-step system in one event. Usually it's like 7 sessions. And I've been working really hard to be able to fit it all into the 55 minutes that I'm going to be talking. I'm going to give my whole 10-step system, how you plant the seeds to get it started, how you talk to the referral when you actually call the referral, what you did in order to get to that point. That's all going to be in the program that I'm going to be presenting. So mindset, system,
Hello.
and then
No, you got the
Hold,
wrong man.
hold on
Mr.
a
Hawkins
second.
passed
I'm
away.
sorry.
Oh, well, sorry. Joe,
Yeah, exactly.
I just texted you
see if you can see
Uh,
whose microphone is on, Tom, and you can click
can
them
you,
off.
he's off. Yeah.
Okay. And so the third thing, and maybe the most important thing, is how to earn and deserve those referrals. There was a study in 2010 that I'll talk about briefly in the program where Charles Schwab had someone do a study on what makes clients refer. They wanted to know how that works. That study was just repeated in
Hello.
2022, and I'm going to be talking about that
I'm
as
tired,
well.
but I'm all right. How are you?
How are you?
Could
I could be,
everyone please mute themselves?
yeah, yeah. Um, and it comes down to having clients be engaged. And this goes for centers of influence too, getting referrals from centers of influence, having them be engaged. And what the determination was in 2010, and again in the repeated study in 2022, is that engaged clients refer all the time and they don't even have to be asked. And I'm going to talk about the details of that study briefly. But what happened in 2010 was that I became really curious because this was a great study. Engaged clients refer. Well, okay. Uh, what do you do to get an engaged client? And there were no good answers. And so it's something that I've been looking at over the years with talking with top advisors, studying it, looking at the relationship between the advisor and the client. And I have an excellent idea of what an engaged client is and how to create an engaged client so you get those referrals. And that's going to be the thing that I'm talking about is how do you earn the right to just have that conversation with them? And it boils down to the way that you treat those clients, but with some very specific things that I'm also going to be talking about in the program. And so I'm really excited that the amount of education that's going to come from every one of the speakers is going to be so different than most programs in the industry. And for my part, if anybody takes what I do and implements half of it, I know because I've done this for thousands of advisors now, usually across 7 sessions, but we're going to see what we can do to squeeze it down to one, that you can double or triple your qualified leads, weekly qualified leads, if you start implementing any part of this. And some of it really is just a little language that you have to learn that's different from what you already know how to do. That's going to make a huge difference for you.
Well, I am so excited that you've got one of the largest groups of people who have signed in to listen to you speak. So either we've done a really good job of inviting everyone, or you are just a phenomenal individual. And I prefer to
Well, it's
pick
probably the
the
first, but
I'll
I'll take the second if I can get it.
At this point, what I'd like to do, for those people that are going to be at the forum, you're going to be able to spend time with Sandy one-on-one. For those that are not going to be at the forum, this is an opportunity to meet with one of the best coaches in the country and ask him a question at this time. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to, but if you want to either send in a question on the chat window, or if you would like, unmute yourself, fire up your camera, and go ahead and ask Sandy a question.
Yeah, and while you're thinking about what to ask, I want to add one thing. I'm going to be moving through scripts pretty quickly when we do this program, but anybody who visits me at my booth and gives me an email address on a card or signs on a sheet, I'll send you all the scripts. I want this to work for people. And if they're paying the fee to come to this program and to see people like you and David and Van and the other people that we've got lined up to talk, I want them to go home with everything that they need. And that'll be emailed to them so they won't actually go home with it, but they don't have to sit there and scribble language. I wanted to make sure that didn't happen. Do we have questions?
Anybody? Look, for those of you who, what's interesting is the speakers that I have talked to, and I've spoken to every one, they're just as excited to be in the company of all of the other speakers.
Yes.
So it's sort of like going to be an awe fest. And the neatest thing about the meeting is going to be the sports center thing at the end. And if you were there last year, you'll remember how much we laughed. And it was usually at ourselves. And Van has promised that he's going to sit in a chair this year that will actually have height to it, so he's not looking over the table.
Yeah.
Wondering where the next conversation is going to be. But the beauty of being at the forum is you're going to be, hopefully, and this is a quote from Van, during the break, you're going to hear something that you're going to be able to implement immediately. It might be a question, it might be a conversation starter, it might be the right sentence to begin the conversation. It might just simply be a look or a confrontation. It's the art of communication is really what I'm going to be talking about. And one of the things that I think is missing in our industry is that we focus on product, we focus on a feature, we focus on a benefit, or we mention the company name, thinking the length of the time the company's been in business is the deciding factor. It really isn't. And when you stand in awe, when you are in the audience and you stand in awe of a presenter that you're connecting with, that you're actually getting the message. Why is that? Why is it sometimes you get that and other times you're just turned off? Let me help you with that, since I've been doing this almost 50 years. Those presenters that can actually share their story and share it with passion is simply because of the belief that they have. It's led with their belief. And if our industry can learn how to articulate our belief, you can become a person of interest. You don't need to buy a list of rich, stupid people. That list, by the way, doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
You have to understand words matter. Words matter. But those words that are shared passionately because of what you believe are going to matter the most. And I know for a fact, since I've heard Sandy speak now a couple times, when you get done listening to that, we're going to have that board at the back of the exit when all the speakers are done, and you're going to be writing down your biggest takeaway from the conversation. And it's just one word: implementation. There are so many things that are going to be shared, not only by Sandy, but the other numerous speakers we have, on how they do it, not just what they do. It's not going to be an industry event where we're going to pass out awards and say how good we are. And then when we're done, we all hop in our private jet and fly home. No, we are all wanting to give back, giving back. This is the best industry in the world. I think we are all basically trained wrong. And when we show up, man, be prepared. It's going to be drinking water from a hose. I get it. But you're going to have an opportunity, 10 hours of opportunity to network with not only the people who have spoken, but the people that are sitting in the audience, where you connect and they went, I could do that. And you respond, well, so could I. That to me is going to be the biggest benefit for being at the forum.
And actually, Tom, that's one of the things that I love about the way this forum is planned, is the time to be with those speakers. And I don't care if nobody approaches me and asks questions, but you've got some great people in the industry that you get an opportunity to be with them. And one of the things that I'm always impressed with is Van Miller talks about how he would hang out outside the door of some speaker that he wanted to learn from, to buy him a cup of coffee or buy him breakfast just so that he could learn from him. Well, you don't have to do that, because part of our purpose of being there is to be able to interact with people individually. And you've allowed, in this program, you've allowed a lot of opportunity for that. And I just love that whole idea.
Well, my vision is to fill Bridgestone Arena with 15,000 people in this business that really want to make a difference, not only in their own lives, but in their clients' lives. And it's possible. I refuse to accept 92% of the people who get a license will not have one in 10 years.
Yeah,
I
amazing.
just refuse to accept that horrible statistic yet our industry has. And my goal is to make it 16% are going to succeed, which is 100% improvement, but still 84 suck.
Yeah.
And there's something wrong with that. There is something wrong with that. And if we could show you how to make life insurance a want rather than a need, where people will tell you, how much can I put in? How much can I put into this crappy trash value life insurance contract? So says all the radio hosts. It's possible. It really is possible, and I want to teach you how, and so does everyone else who's going to show up. So I appreciate you, Sandy, much more than you know. And if there are no questions, this is an opportunity. If there are no questions,
Hey, I'm
we've got
happy to
3 weeks.
answer anything. I'll
Well,
even give
let me
stuff.
give some kudos here because I first basically was met Sandy. I won't say met, but I first got your course 10 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. And when Sandy teaches how to ask for and get introductions, so it's more than referrals. And I used to have this testimony on your site. It's not there anymore, so I don't know what happened there, Sandy. But the main thing is that it's not needy, it's not greedy, it's not creepy, and there's no gimmicks. You can actually be, in my opinion, you could be an aggressive professional in the way that you implement Sandy's training on how to ask for and get referrals, and yet be completely comfortable in doing it. And Sandy, I'm gonna steal one little piece of your presentation. I don't know how
Sure.
you're gonna do that full thing in 1 hour. That's Get your track shoes on, guys. That's gonna
Yeah.
be really quick. So I'm gonna steal one part. I'm gonna cite it to you in my presentation because it's not just this being a program. It's not just being an additional program. It's how you integrate it into everything else you're doing. Because if it's not integrated, what good is it? It's got to be integrated into your natural processes of how you work. And yours can easily be integrated.
Yeah. Thanks for saying so, David. It's if you create a system, and I learned this a long time ago, if you create a system where there's an appropriate time to have that conversation with every client and every center of influence, and you know the what you're going to be talking about, how you're going to be talking, everything connects. One of the things that I'll be showing you is how in the conversation with the client that you want to give you the referral, you're already setting up the conversation with the person you're referred to. And nobody knows how to do that. It's simple to do. And the people that I teach it to go, oh my gosh, this made that call to that person so much easier. And I'm going to try and get all of that in. Obviously, they're all nuances that I have to leave out to strip it down, but I'm not going to strip down the essential stuff. It's all going to be there.
Well, like I said, I'm excited to have you. I'm gonna have fun. Um,
Yeah, me
hey,
too.
when do you get here?
I get there Wednesday night.
Wednesday night? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I
For those,
missed the super event at the beginning.
the hockey game.
Yeah, but then I'll be there for the for the conversations that go on before the program. It's a great program. You get to talk to us before the actual program, during the actual program, at the end of the actual program, and there's always something to learn. In a 1 minute conversation, one question can make a whole difference in your career.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you popping in. Sandy, these are all your fans. Appreciate
Yeah,
appreciate your fans popping in.
yeah.
And in 3 weeks, it's go day. So hopefully everyone will show up, and we'll see you then. Thanks, Sandy. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me and letting us have this conversation. And I'm looking forward to seeing David there. And any of you who are thinking about it, don't think about it. You're never going to see this level of education. So please join us.